Strat-O-Matic Excel Carryover League. Brought to you by the Shrimp Troll.
(1973 to 1976). Welcome back, baseball fans. 1973-76 Carryover League. We're continuing the postseason race for the pennant tournament, and we're in the American League North. A big series between the Ohio players and the Cleveland Indians. There's some unique math and tie-breaking involved in this series, in this division, so let me explain. Let's go to the overall standings first. And when we do that, the first question is, could a team who plays poorly in the first and second place battle, could they play so poorly that they could fall all the way into fourth place and be eliminated? The answer is, yeah, it can happen. So what would a scenario look like? Well, here's the thing. The Expos, before the All-Star break, they were in first, but then they played the Tigers. And the Tigers beat them 4 out of 5. And so they took first place, and then that gave us this logic here. See, the Tigers were +3 in the tiebreaker. The Expos were a game back. Well, Tigers beat them again, 4 out of 5. Sometimes you just don't match up well. The Expos lost 8 of 10 to Detroit. Meanwhile, year to date, they're 8-3 versus Cleveland and the Ohio players, so they have the tiebreakers against those teams. So the Expos are 15-16. The next thing to check is the math of both teams who are playing in third or fourth place. Could they both finish with records better than that? And the answer is yes, because the Indians were game over 500 and the Ohio players were at 500. Simple. It's pretty simple. You just add the win-loss records, divide it in half, and it's better than -1. So that's how you know there is a possibility. So now let's look at the possibility between Ohio and Cleveland. So Ohio has the, this also went 7 games before the All-Star break. So they have just a +1 tiebreaker over Cleveland, but they're a half a game back. Now, this is conventional math. It's very similar to this conventional math here. Same scenario. Boston won a tiebreaker, but they're half game back, which meant it was a simple best of 7. In other words, they win the best of 7. They're only up by a half a game now instead of being behind by half a game, but now they're +2 in the tiebreaker. So that's that scenario repeated. But there's a wrinkle now. The wrinkle now is, if Ohio wins 4 and Cleveland wins 3, then Cleveland would go to 500. Ohio goes a game over 500, and the Expos get eliminated. So in a 7-game series, the Expos would be eliminated. So the Expos are rooting for the series to end in 6 games or fewer. That's what the Expos need. They need a 4-0 sweep, or a 4-1 or 4-2, they keep going in the tournament. So let's show you what's happened in this. Game 1, Ohio at Cleveland. Ohio wins this one 5-1. It all happened in the second inning. Carlos may walk, an error on Cesar Tovar, a single by Orlando Cepeda, and yes, former Oriole Elrod Hendricks with a grand slam home run off of Gaylord Perry. there's a Ike Brown double, RBI single, Dave Cash, 5-zip. Vida Blue throws a complete game, gives up 9 hits. But, he doesn't throw a complete game, my bad. Demiri comes in, gets a save. 9 hits, the run, 2 walks, 6 Ks. And Gaylord Perry scratching his head. He can't figure out how to beat the Ohio players. Let's go to game number 2. Game number 2. This is a wild one. It's Rudy May versus Fritz Peterson. Indians get an individual run, second, third inning, but in the 4th, the Tribe tie it with a Cliff Johnson 2-run dinger. But in the 5th, they get the Fritz Peterson walk, single, 2-run double, George Hendrick, RBI single, Celerino Sanchez. It's 5-2. It's 6-2 when we go to the bottom of the 7th. Then with 2 outs and 2 on, it's Buddy Bell with a 3-run bomb, and we have a 6-5 game. Top of the 8th inning, though, Tom Hilgendorf surrenders a 2-run homer to Pepe Mangual. The Indians get a run in the bottom of the inning off of Jesse Jefferson, but another run by Relentless Ohio gets another run in the 9th inning on a George Hendrick homer. Final score 9-6 Ohio Players. Short bus ride from Dayton, home of the Ohio Players Band and where this team plays, to Cleveland. And, 2 road wins. But sometimes you can understand why there wouldn't be a home field advantage when they both play in the same state, I guess. Let's see what happens when it goes to game 3. At this point, it's all going well for the Expos. It's just like, Ohio, 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 beat the Indians, beat the Indians. You just beat them 2 straight, beat them two more. Game number 3. Not so fast. Jim Perry for the Indians, Lynn McLaughlin for Ohio. Low-scoring affair. Poor Lynn McLaughlin, it all happens in the 1st inning. A Lowenstein walk, a Gamble walk, a Cliff Johnson single, and an RBI triple by Rick Manning. 4 runs. And then that's all he would give up the rest of the way. In 8 innings, 7 hits, those 4 runs, 6 walks, and 2 Ks. Meanwhile, Jim Perry goes 6 2/3. He gives up an RBI double to Driesen. Jim Kern, Ramon Hernandez finish it off, and the Indians get a win. 4-1's a score, and the Ohio Players are leading 2-1. Then we have the game 4. Oh my, this crazy thing. Dennis Eckersley versus Doc Ellis. Scoreless until the 4th. We get a single by Lowenstein, a double by Buddy Bell. Oscar Gamble walks, and then Cliff Johnson, sorry, my bad. Lowenstein singles, but is thrown out stealing, so that's 1 out. Bell walks, Gamble walks, Cliff Johnson walks. That would have been an RBI walk had Lowenstein not been caught stealing. It doesn't matter because Boog Powell, another former Oriole, with a grand slam. These things are popular. 4-0 Indians, 4-1 after a Orlando Cepeda double, and another 4-2 after Orlando Cepeda single. Then we go to the 7th. Mike Norris in relief of Doc Ellis. After an out, Lowenstein singles, Bell singles, Gamble walks, Ray Fosse fouls out. Then with the bases loaded and 2 outs, Boog Powell, another granny for Boog Powell. What's going on? Boog Powell, 2 for 5, 8 RBI on 2 grand slams. And the Indians win 9-3. Oh my goodness, folks. Eckersley gets the win. Doc Ellis takes the loss. And the road team has won every game, and the series is tied 2-2, and the Expos are in trouble again. Oh my, this looks like another long series. So we go to game 5. It'll be a repeat of game 1, and it's almost a repeat score of game 1. Vida Blue beats Gaylord Perry. This time it's 5-3. No grand slams in this one. We get a RBI single Larry Lentz. We get a big 7th inning doubles by Driesen and Bill Robinson. The only damage they could do with a Vida Blue was a 2-run homer by Oscar Gamble. It is a home win. The Ohio players won the Game 5 at home 5-3, and so they hold the 3-2 series lead as we go to Game 6 back today in Cleveland. And here's your scenario. If the Ohio players win Game 6, they will be the second place team. The Expos will be the third place team. They will both continue in the tournament, and the Indians will be out. If the Indians win Game 6, they clinch advancing. They'll automatically advance as either a second or third place team, believe it or not, even though they're down 3-2 in this series based on tiebreakers. But they'll have to play a Game 7, and the reason why can't Cleveland just stop playing? Well, we have to figure out if they're better than Ohio or not. And if they beat Ohio in a Game 7, then Cleveland is in second place, the Expos are in third. If Ohio wins Game 7 after losing Game 6, then Ohio is in second, Cleveland is in third, and the Expos are eliminated. So the short math is the Expos are rooting for the Ohio players, but if they lose this game, they're going to turn on them like traitors and root for the Indians to win Game 7. That's the math for the Expos watching on TV. How fun is this? Let's take a look at these standings just to show you this wacky division. There's a lot of games. That's a high look. 16, 16, 19, 18, 15, 16. You know, it's just, yeah, it's not impressive winning percentages, but it's staying power, folks. These teams go long series. They're not swept much. And frankly, the team that played short series was the Expos when they lost 4 out of 5 to Detroit twice. Look at games played, 31, 31. Look at Indians, Ohio players. You got 32 and 37. So, let's get started from someplace in Ohio. Cleveland, in this case. Oh, your starting pitchers. For the Ohio players, it'll be Lynn McLaughlin. 1974, a 16-game winner for the Cardinals. A 2.70 ERA in 237 innings. And for the Indians, it'll be Gaylord's brother, Jim Perry, who, believe it or not, Gaylord hasn't been able to beat the Ohio players, but his brother Jim has. He won the game earlier. 17-12 and 74 with a 2.96 ERA and 252 innings. These two pitchers are almost identical. It's really, really wild. McLaughlin's a starter 8, Perry's a starter 7. This is just fun baseball, folks. I got to tell you, I like these back and forth games. You know, a lot of strategy. You know, a lot of different characteristics for these teams, but only one winner. Or actually, there could be 2 winners, technically, yeah. Leading off for the Ohio players, Larry Lentz. 3.11's a grounder to short. Dave Cash, 56, flies to center. And Dan Driesen, 59, flies to left. Bottom of the first. It's tonight. Let it be Lowenstein. 47's a strikeout. Buddy Bell, 49, skies to right. And Oscar Gumball, 2-5, homer, 1-11. It is gone, Oscar Gamble. An all-star for the Clevetown Indians, their own all-star. One of his 19 homers in 1974 went over the wall, and the Indians have a lead. Cliff Johnson, 56, is a K. And yes, there are some nervous people in Expo land right now. Top of 2, it's George Hendrick. 2-3, grounded to the pitcher. Carlos May, 6'10", third X. Third baseman Buddy Bell's a 2.23. He gives up a single. Good, but not good enough. Bill Robinson, 63. Second X, this is Kuiper. He's a 3.22 at second base, and that's going to be a double play on the X rating. E rating. All right, bottom of 2. Hey, your Boog pal, 1-9, grounds a second. You know, Boog's not had the best of years, but those 2 grand slams look awfully good on his resume. Charlie Spikes, 43, flies to right X, right fielder. Bill Robinson's a 2.11, makes the catch. Rick Manning, 33, rolls the first. Top of the third, it's Orlando Cepeda, 38, is a roller to short. Elrod Hendricks, 64. Triple one to Adolph Perry is a two-base hit. Ike Brown, 58, lines to first. And with two outs, back up top to Larry Lintz. 38's a base hit to right field. Do we want to run Elrod Hendricks? Ooh. He is a 10. That's not bad. 11, 12. Minus one arm makes it 11. He's going to run on an 11, and he scores on a 10. Elrod Hendricks legs it out. Break up some Elrod Hendrick leg juice. Used to be 8, but he's a 10 now. And Lintz is going to take off stealing. He's safe on a 10. If you're wondering about the catching arms of Ohio, yeah, there's a tremendous disparity. Cliff Johnson gets to start with a +2 arm, while Ray Fosse and his -3 arm are on the bench. And if you're wondering, well, hey, don't you want to have the great throwing catcher against the speedy Ohio team? And the Indians are like, nah, because they don't do that much with it. They're not beating us with the stolen bases. We need Cliff Johnson to get some walks or homers. We need him to walk to load the bases so that Boog Powell can hit a grand slam. So we need Cliff Johnson's bat more than we need Ray Fosse's throwing arm. At least that's how it's played out to this point. Runner at second, 2 outs. It's Dave Cash. 2-8, base hit, ... and that time it blow up for Cleveland as the guy who stole second scored. So that's really the first time it's paid off in a Game 6. And Ohio has a 2-1 lead. And Cash is going to attempt to steal. And he's safe. So suddenly, they finally got some success stealing bases in this one. Dan Driesen, 63, pitcher X, Jim Perry, it's an 11. And that's a single, but it won't score a run. Runners on the corners for George Hendrick. 1-9, let's take a look at George Hendrick's card of 1974. Guess what? Yep, he played for the Cleveland Indians. Whoops. Yeah, he'd burn his former teams, or the team he was on, frankly. Played for Oakland and Cleveland, San Diego, the Cardinals, California Angels, and I forget who else. Anytime a guy bounces around baseball, makes a great candidate for one of these expansion teams because they want to hold on to the guy, give him a stipend, say, don't leave town. We need you. We're lousy, and we need a good player. So George Hendrick, 1-9, homer 1-4, cannot convert. It's going to be a double. 1-run scores. You want to run Driesen? A 13, 14, 15 against the Rick Manning arm. He scores! And there's rejoicing in Expo Land as the Ohio players have a 4-1 lead off a Perry brother. I mean, they've faced the Perrys 4 times in 6 games, with only Fritz Peterson and Dennis Eckersley breaking it up. Carlos May. 2-8's a walk. They're going to bat around here in the 4th. 2 on, 2 outs, and it's Bill Robinson. Bill Robinson, 54, flies to right. All right. 4-1. Bottom of the 3rd, it's Dwayne Kuiper. 54, lines are short. Frank Duffy, 35, grounds the 3rd. And with 2 outs, it's Let It Be Lowenstein. 54, lines are short. Oscar Gamble, home run is the only person to reach. 4th inning. Orlando Cepeda, 59, flies to right. Elrod Hendricks, 38, is a walk. Ike Brown, 58, lines to first. And with 2 outs, it's Larry Lintz. 45, flies to center. Bottom of the 4th. Buddy Bell. 1-5, short. Oscar Gamble, 55, second C. And with 2 outs, Cliff Johnson, 3-6, he'll reach with a base hit. Got to make you look good for starting, since you gave up a couple stolen bases. It's Boog Powell, 32, pitcher. You flip those results, you get back-to-back homers. Cliff Johnson's got the home run 3-2. Boog Powell's got the home run 3-6. Sometimes it's the fine line between clever and stupid sometimes, folks. All right, top of the 5th. It's going to be Dave Cash. 57, short X, your shortstop. is Frank Duffy. He's a 2E19. He makes the play. Dan Driesen, 1-2. Hit by the pitch. B. Steeler. He's taking off, trying to take advantage of what they can get before Fosse gets in there. He steals a base. They're 3 for 3. And now that decision to not start Ray Fosse's looking bad in a game 6. George Hendrick. 38, base hit center. Here comes Driesen with 1 out. It's a 13 with 1 out. He's going to run, though, because you got a 0 arm in center. And he scores on a 7. The high-flying Ohio players have a 5-1 lead. Carlos May, 47, lines the third. And Bill Robinson. Bill Robinson, 6'11", pitcher X. Jim Perry's an E11. There's a lot of E11s on these teams. He kicks it for an error. And the inning will continue. Who all's an E11? We had Bill Robinson's an E11. We have Rick Manning's an E11. Both of those outfielders on each team. Charlie Spikes is an E11. That's an interesting number. Okay. Orlando Cepeda. 68. Single 1 to 19. He gets it. Bases loaded, 2 outs. This is it for Perry. And it's Elrod Hendricks. Oh, you want to get a lefty in here to get Elrod out of the lineup so you can face Pepe Mangual, Celerino Sanchez, or Ivan De Jesus? Now, you cannot be scared of Elrod Hendricks. To be scared of Elrod Hendricks admits defeat anyway. Elrod did hit 215. Let's take a look at the cards since we're talking about him. 75, Elrod Hendricks. He's a 215 hitter, but he's got 8 taters, 223 at-bats, and I just like the card. I like the walks. He's a -1 arm catcher who is also an E2 and a T1 to 3. I don't get the 4-ness. It means he must have given up a lot of pass balls. But he didn't make errors, fielding ground balls, and he didn't throw the ball in the center field, and he could gun down some runners. It's weird to see a 4 that's really good in the other areas. You don't normally see that combination, but that's the combo he has. Here's the pitch. Is the bases loaded? Yep. Elrod Hendricks looking for his 2nd grand slam, the time with another former Oriole Boog pal. Here's the pitch to Ellie Hendricks. 57 is a 2nd X. And this is Kuiper. You got to squeeze this one, Dwayne. A 3E22, and he makes the play. Could have been more damage. That should bring hope to Cleveland for a comeback. 5-1, bottom of the 5th. Let's pause a moment for station identification.
This is the Shrimp Trawler video channel.
Este es el canal de videos de camaroneros.
Ohio and Cleveland. For all the folks in Ohio to watch. Every game. And they can always say, oh, that was my team. Regardless of who wins the series. Yeah, I was rooting for those guys. Bottom of the 5th. It's Charlie Spikes leading off. 68. Single 1 to 8. Gets it. That's a good way to start the inning. Rick Manning. 34. Pitcher A. That's a bad way to continue an inning. Dwayne Kuiper. 57 is a K. Lynn McLaughlin. A solo homer is it through 5. People forgot the couple cool years he had. He had 1 really good year with Boston and maybe 2 good years with the Cardinals before he turned into a pumpkin. All right. 5-1 into the 6th we go. It's going to be Ike Brown. 69, 2nd X. Kuiper makes the play. I like to ride these starters into the 6th, 7th inning. Perry's a starter 7. This is just a 5-1 game. If he's within a grand slam, we know there's been grand slams hit today. Larry Lentz, 57, 2nd X. Kuiper makes another play. He's been very busy. 3 consecutive chances to Dwayne Kuiper. And Dave Cash, 1-6, grounds are short. 5-1, bottom of the 6th. It'll be Frank Duffy. 110, single 1 to 17, and he converts. Back up top to Let It Be Lowenstein. 412 is fielder's choice. Lowenstein's at first for Buddy Bell. And that is a 6-4-3 double play. You can't do that. You can't be hitting into these double plays while your opponent is stealing bases and scoring on singles to your 0-armed center fielder. This is the perfect recipe for disaster for the Indians. You have to wonder if Fosse is catching today, if the runner gets stranded at third base, you know. But again, if you get, 3 singles, 2 doubles, and a walk at inning, you're probably going to score a bunch anyway. 5-1 into the 7th we go for Jim Perry. Dan Driesen leads off. 57, second X. Another ball hit to Dwayne Kuiper, and eventually he cracks and surrenders a single. Be stealing Dan Driesen. Steal it like you own it. And this is going to be close. He's a 13. 14, 15, 1 at 12 for home catcher, and he's a 12, and he's in there barely. George Hendrick. 1-4, flies left. Carlos May, 2-4, rolls back to the mound. And Bill Robinson, 33, rolls to third. Jim Perry. You know, an okay outing. Not quite a quality start, but 7 innings in the books. And of a 5-1 game here in Ohio somewhere, you know that was a no-brainer that we were in Ohio. But we are enjoying listening to this wonderful LP by the James Gang. Third record of theirs, following Rides Again and Your Album. Last one with Joe Walsh, I believe, and probably arguably the best. Well, I don't know. They're all good. This first 3 are really good. Oh my goodness, yeah. Walk Away. It's All the Same. Which one do we want to hear, folks? It's All the Same? That play? Yeah, throw this one down. This is kind of nice. All right. Turn it up a little bit for the home fans. Trying to get a rally together here in Cleveland. Lynn McLaughlin. Can we improve Lynn's defense? Yeah, Cepeda. Yeah, they're going to bring in Sanchez for Cepeda to play third base, and they're going to bring in DeJesus to play short for Larry Lenz with a 4-run lead and 9 outs to get to end the series, dare we say. Bottom of the 7th, leading off, the only damage doer of the day, I like that, is Oscar Gamble. 1-8, rolls to first. Cliff Johnson. Let's take a look at Cliff's card since he's been a topic of discussion today. Okay, so first of all, he has had some really monster cards, every few years or so. He looks ridiculous, and then he stinks. And then eventually, like in the 80s, he has a steady crop of good cards for Oakland and Toronto after previously playing for the Cubs and the Indians and the Yankees and the Houston Astros. Wore out his welcome. Anyway, here he's with Houston in 74. It's just a .228 average with 10 home runs. But with the walks, frankly, the right side looks much better than the left side. And that's why he's in while Fosse is sitting. And theoretically, you like to have Cliff play half a game and Fosse play half a game, But anyway. Here he is. He's 1 for 2 today. Here's the pitch to Cliff Johnson. 111, grounds a short. And with 2 outs, it's Boop Pow. 64 off McLaughlin is homer. 1-11 double. It's a 2-base hit. And now you got Charlie Spikes. 3-6 is a strikeout. It's Lynn McLaughlin Day here in Cleveland. 2, 3, 4. 1 run on 5 hits through 7 frames. Outstanding work. Lynn McLaughlin. We go to the 8th, and I think what we're going to do, Cleveland is 6 outs away and 4 runs down from going home and going fishing. So they're going to go to their lefty closer, Ramon Hernandez, a guy they went out and got off the Pirates, as the Pirates, this was a big get for Cleveland. A left-handed reliever was what they desperately needed. They got Hernandez. Sadly, though, he's hardly been used this year. So they have this weapon, but they haven't been able to weaponize it because they've just been a middling 500 team. Ramon in 73 was 4-5 with a 2.40 ERA in 90 innings, arguably the last good Ramon Hernandez card. He will pitch the 8th inning. And leading off will be Celerino Sanchez. 66 is a base hit. Now you got Elron Hendricks. He's not going anywhere. He's not coming out because there's a lefty. 39, single 1 to 9, he lines out. That's the only single chance on his card versus lefties. That's the price you pay for hitting 215. Ike Brown. 410, center X. This is Rick Manning, a 211 outfielder, makes the catch. And with 2 outs, back up top, new defensive shortstop, Ivan De Jesus. 69 off Hernandez's short X. This is Frank Duffy, a 2E19, makes the play. 6 outs to get. Here's the thing, though. Ohio is a pretty weak and untested bullpen. Matter of fact, the bullpen relievers have pitched the fewest innings of any staff in baseball. And the starters have gone deeper than any other franchise. Blue, McLaughlin, they're both starter 8s. Rudy May's a starter. What is Rudy May? He's a starter 8, and Doc Ellis a starter 6. But they have been pitching deep into games, and there is no bullpen light on. For Lynn McLaughlin, who's a starter 8, you got to hit the point of weakness to get him out of there. Defense is in, bottom of the 8th. Leading off, it's Rick Manning. 58 is a fly ball to right. Dwayne Kuiper. 2-7, single 1 to 7. He can't get it on a 12. Then with 2 outs, it's Frank Duffy. 47's a strikeout. We go to the 9th inning. Oh, Hernandez will continue. It'll be Dave Cash. 69, short X. Frank Duffy again, makes the play again. Dan Driesen, 2-4. Comebacker to the mound. And George Hendricks, 67, is a strikeout. Solid relief by our guy. I forgot to put that out there. By our guy, Ramon Hernandez. Okay, bottom of the 9th. Lynn McLaughlin. Not even anywhere close to a point of weakness. A double in the 7th, a single, and the homer in the 1st by Oscar Gumball. Top of the Cleveland order. We may have to start showing you cards as Cleveland's season might be coming to an end. You know, I vaguely recall a year ago, it was the same Cleveland Indians that we were obituarizing, sure, finishing them off. And they came back in their elimination game and came back in the bottom of the 9th to extend their season. And then they did it again. I believe that is the case. It was Cleveland a year ago. So this is exactly the same boat. I don't think it was a 4-run deficit, though. But this is the same scenario this team was in a year ago. And chance to do it again with enormous odds. And Lynn McLaughlin's not going anywhere. You have to hit the point of weakness before he exits. Top of the order, it'll be John Lowenstein. 48 is a pop to second base. Now it'll be Buddy Bell. 67's a base hit for Buddy. You have a man on with 1 out. And it's Oscar Gumball. 52, a comebacker to the mound. And Cleveland has put their season in the hands of Cliff Johnson. For better or worse here. Free agent. Wasn't here a year ago. Knew nothing about the comeback attempt for the Indians, as he wasn't on the team a year ago. But now he must learn that it's never say never. Never say die, Cleveland. Down to the last out, Cliff Johnson, 1 for 3, a single and a strikeout. Here's the pitch. And the Expo fans are on their feet watching as well. Here's the pitch to Cliff Johnson. 1-9 is ball 4. Oh, he got the memo. And now it goes to Boog Powell, the elimination batter. The save the season batter. Boog Powell, let's take a look at Boog. 1975, the big man, 27 dingers, 297 average. Where did this season come from? It's the best season since 1970 when he was Baltimore's MVP. Then he had a slow decline with average and power. And then they let him go after 74. And then boom, back in 75, he gets this card. And he gets those light beer from Miller commercials as well, I believe. So here it is. Boog Powell, no grand slam, but they'll take a 3-run homer. They'll take a walk. They'll take anything they can get at this point. Here's your pitch to Boog Powell. 59 off Lynn McLaughlin's a fly ball to left field, and that'll do it. And just like that, Cleveland looks up and like, we lost? That's it? Yeah, you lost. That's it. The Ohio players have just beat the Cleveland Indians by a score of 5-1 and won this series 4-2 and ends Cleveland's season. Oh my. We'll take this right through the box score here for you folks. And once again, another disappointing year by the lake here in Cleveland. Oh my goodness. They just cannot take advantage of this opportunity against a fictional team, and plus the Expos, you know, the 1969 expansion Expos moving into the American League. They just cannot, I mean, forget beating Detroit. They can't even sniff 500 of the playoffs. It's another blown opportunity for the Cleveland Indians franchise. My goodness. Ramon Hernandez, a hit and a strikeout and 2 innings of nice relief. Jim Perry lost this one, 9 hits and 5 runs. 4 were earned. 5 were earned. Yep. 3 walks, no strikeouts. Lynn McLaughlin. Nice win. 6 hits, 1 run allowed. A solo homer. A walk and 5 Ks. A complete game. 1009, 0109, 510, 16. 3-1, 1-5, 1-5, 3-1. It was a case of 2-game winning streaks. Ohio won 2. Cleveland won the next 2. Ohio won the last 2. So see that's folks. See what I mean about these expansion teams? This is why this league is so much fun. When you can make an expansion team, we saw how difficult an out Toronto was. Toronto had beaten the Yankees 4 in a row, but then the Yankees came back. But still, Toronto made it interesting in that series. And then you have Cleveland getting knocked out by the Ohio players. And they are 16-17. And the case is they're now, this is what I'm talking about. They finish in a tie. Let's take a look at this. See these records, a game under? They finish in a tie, a game under 500. But let's look at the head-to-head results between the Expos and Cleveland. This is the Expos season, by the way. They opened up against the Rangers. They lost 3-2. Then they beat the Ohio players 4-3. Then they swept Cleveland 4-0. So there you go. That's more than enough reason for the Expos to knock out the Indians. Not Ohio knocking out the Indians. Then the Expos lost 2 to the Cubs. They took 3 straight from Kansas City, but Kansas City was awful, and they're actually out of it now. Then they began those 2 series against the Tigers, losing 4 out of 5 twice. All right, back to the box score here. So we'll check out some stats. Ohio's now 20-18. They're hitting .272 this year with a .361 ERA. Those are fantastic numbers for a bunch of players that were not protected by their Major League Baseball teams. And so, you know, a lot of times what happens is, for instance, like a George Hendrick, you steal him when he's just out of AAA and hitting 190, knowing that he'll be better in the future. And so that's what they do a lot of times when they find these guys. It's like futures betting, you know. Mike Norris is here now. Mike Norris won't be good until 1980, but they got him here now as an example of that. So, Vita Blue's 4-4. His ERA's right around 3. Nothing major there. Nothing spectacular in the pitching. Kind of a steady look, really. McLaughlin, steadier. He's 5-5, but his ERA is around 2.5. They have 7 complete games between them. Power department for Ohio, George Hendrick has 6 homer and 27 RBI to pace the team. Leading hits, Dave Cash, who was an all-star. He's 52 for 159. He's hitting 327. Dave Cash. And for your Clevetown Indians, Gaylor Perry finishes 4-6 with an ERA of around 3.20, but has 4 complete games. Ramon Hernandez had 4 saves, but they just didn't get enough opportunities. Power department, you got Charlie Spikes with 7 home runs. Gamble had 6. Top hitter, guess Gamble with 36 hits. They hit 257 with a 3.62 ERA. So let's plug in the postseason result here. Ohio needed a 4-3, and Ohio got a 4-2, 4-2. And Ohio players are 20-18, and I guess it doesn't really matter which, where we plug in each one here. We can put Cleveland here now. Normally I put the eliminated team up here. Actually, it is the eliminated team. What am I talking about? Yeah, Cleveland is the one that got eliminated. And their record was 16-17. So those 2 teams are a game over 500. So that means the Ohio players are in second place here, 2 over 500. And the Expos are up here. And the Expos are a game under 500. Oh boy. We still have to wait and see what happens in the West. Right now, though, it looks like the Expos will play the Red Sox in a best-of-5, and the Yankees will play the Ohio players, who have a nice little advantage here. Remember, the Yankees had a losing record before they lost 4 straight to Toronto, so even though they came back, they still have a losing record. Ohio is a game and a half ahead of them, so it looks like the Yankees are going to need a 4-2 there. They're going to need to win a best-of-5 plus a tiebreaker. So there's that. But we still have more time to do all this analysis. But anyway, let's pause that for now. Break up your expansion Ohio players. They, and you could say American League Expansion Expos, have advanced, and the Cleveland Indians are out. Thanks for checking this out. We'll see you next time.